What is up, AfterBuzzers? It's my favorite day of the week. I did cry this episode. I mean, who could have guessed that? But we are on episode 13 already. We are almost at the end. We have 18 episodes. This was a doozy, guys, so stay tuned.
You're tuning into the destination for TV superfan discussion, AfterBuzz TV. And now, let the buzz begin.
That's all I got for this song, but I got that one. I got
that part.
This song will forever be extremely depressing for me now.
I'm so sad right now. Why did you guys pick this song?
Okay, I cry every episode, but
No,
this
you never
one
cry.
I like.
She never
sobbed,
Literally had
like,
tears coming down.
like screaming. It was crazy.
I thought you were
was
fake
a lot.
crying.
No, like I was like having to stop myself from crying. It was a lot, guys. What is up? Thank you so much for joining us on your favorite night of the week, on Tuesday night for This Is Us. We're on episode 13. That'll be the day.
Yes.
So we have a lot to cover, so we'll jump right in. My name is Candice Cruz. You can find me on all my social media at Candice R. Cruz. With Keith back!
Yes.
Yay!
Welcome back.
In the building. What's up, everybody? I am Keith Andre here. The episode was intense. The tears, I've forgotten how much she cries. But
How could you forget?
you guys
How
can
could you
follow me
forget?
everywhere on social media at Keith_Andre.
And I'm Lina Noory. I have no idea how Keith forgot how much Candice cries. You can't miss the waterworks.
It's gonna happen tonight.
You can find me all over the internet at Lina Noory, and this episode is so bittersweet for me. I don't even know how I feel about it.
Yep, bittersweet is the right word.
Yeah.
I would agree with that. I'm Erica Shannon, and you can find me on Twitter at Miss Airy Baby.
God, to be honest, even though it was so like heart-wrenching for me, I feel like this is one of the best episodes we've had in a stretch.
I don't know.
Yeah, I'm weird. I'm with Lina.
No.
I'm
It's-
weird about
I
it.
It's
think
like-
I'm with you guys too.
It's like from day one of season 2, we've been wanting to know. Since season
Right.
1, we've been wanting to know how Jack dies. All of season 2, we said it, and we finally got a taste of it, and like I just got chills. I don't like it. Like I don't.
You don't like the way he died, or you don't like the fact that he died?
No, I don't like the fact that they finally gave it to me. Like it's like
Yeah,
no, but it's
listen.
like
week.
It's
I'm
like,
not
have you guys
having it.
ever had something that you wanted so bad, like you wanted to know, and then when you find out, it just opens up a boatload of emotions, and you're like, wait, stop.
No, I don't know how you feel at all. Nope.
I'll take
Isn't it
that.
bittersweet? Like
It
oh
is
my
bittersweet,
God.
but for me, it was more about, I felt like even last week, I felt like these episodes, they were moving a little bit slow for me.
And
I
then
don't know about the pacing, and then it's like jam-packed at the end, which is something we're kind of used to, but I don't know. I'm still like, what in the world? It's a lot.
I thought what I really liked was that they had so much more character development for all of them. Even on the other side, when we're seeing like present day, I feel like there was just so much more relationship going on rather than like hopping around and like covering story. It was just being. And I don't know why that like, for some people maybe that wasn't like doesn't float their boat, but for me just them as people interacting and just living their lives and like seeing how that how that ties into their experiences with the construction and all of it tied in very beautifully, but it wasn't so on the nose either until the very end. But I think what got me really emotional was the fact that putting all the puzzle pieces together, realizing that this was the day that it happened,
sure.
and all the stuff that led up to it, of like realizing that we know as an audience that this is the last moment that they're going to be with their dad, but they don't.
Yeah.
I think that's what got to me
I think
so
that
much.
is the part too. And I started to think, well, would you in retrospect, you can see everything perfectly.
Of course.
You start to think, well, are there cues that they should have picked up on, or even the weight of having like the Super Bowl, you know what I mean? Like this last Super Bowl of our family, that's the memory that we're stuck with when we've done it every year for our whole lives, and the way it kind of unpacks itself. So,
But
yeah.
then you got to remember that like they're 17 years old.
Of course.
How much time do they
Are
really
you
want to
really
spend
gonna-
with their
True.
parents?
Right.
So for them to be like, I want to go on a date or I want to go see Titanic, which is an undertaking. So Randall, kudos to you, and kudos to Allison for seeing it 7 times, girl.
That's too
I
much.
could not.
She's crazy.
That gives me anxiety.
But it's natural that they didn't want to be at home. But again, retrospectively, if you knew that was the last day with your parents, you would have been
do
there
it.
right up next to them.
But at that same token, we never know when the last day
Right.
is
For
going to
sure.
be. So it's also at that point where it's like it kind of goes into the bittersweet part that Lena's talking about is like we don't ever know that. So like how do we go through our lives and like really keep that in mind but also not like stop living at
Right.
the same time.
And
You know
I-
what I mean?
And I think something people don't realize is there's not an age on death. As we
No.
saw, Jack died, what they said, I think it was like the mid 40s or something like that, because they both, Kevin and Randall were talking about how they're both 40. He's like, don't worry, you have a few years. Is that we often think, oh, our parents are going to get older, but we could walk outside right now as we leave and get hit by a car, or God forbid, you know, there's little kids that get, you know, diagnosed with illnesses and die shortly after that. And there's no rhyme or reason. And you just, every day you have to wake up. And this is something I told myself several years back. Every day I wake up and I try to talk to at least, I'll definitely call my parents every day. But you know, to some people it might be a bit much.
I do too.
But I call my parents every day and my siblings. We have like a group chat and I will do my
For
best.
sure.
Especially if you get in fights or hold grudges, to just not let those little things get there, because you really don't
don't.
You
know.
don't.
Right.
And I think
No.
that is necessary because even with them, like you get to see like the like explicit weight of death, right?
Of course.
Even from, you know, I felt so annoyed with Kate when she was first dealing with audio, and that, you know, it's difficult to kind of weigh how death is going to affect someone else. And so for me, like not having those type of experiences, I'm just like, okay, girl, like you can't have a dog, like just so annoyed. But then you have to think about the impact of it, and, you know, how having to deal with that.
And we
So-
don't know, like, we saw a little bit of how everything starts, but we don't know the true impact of, like, what, like, we don't know
Exactly.
how it ends. We
Right.
know that there's a fire, and that's all that we know. But yeah, is there any way that we can get the live chat so we can chat with some of our viewers? Because I know that this was, like,
Oh, they are
a
here.
crazy episode.
They're-
I know that you guys have it
got
on
you,
your
Steve.
phone, so we're going to try and get it.
Yeah, I got you.
Yeah.
Steve.
By the way, everybody at home, we love you guys, because this is like the liveliest chat ever.
Oh, yeah.
And just to clarify real quick, because someone was saying, or a couple people were mentioning, I'm not saying that it's bittersweet in the sense that I didn't want to know if Jack died or not. I want
Yeah.
to know. I think it's about time that they told us. It's just one of those things that I feel like it's going to open like the floodgates. Like we've
Oh,
been
God.
waiting for this moment, and it's kind of like putting yourself in the unknown. It's like a bowl of emotions are about to open up, finding out how he actually dies,
Right.
what actually led to it. So it doesn't mean that I didn't want to know. It just means that it's so bittersweet that now that it's happening, I'm like, my
he-
anxiety's kicking in.
And over the last 2 seasons, we've grown to love him so much more.
We really do.
As everything, and seeing all of his downfalls and his triumphs and everything else. But what really got me too was the connection between Jack and Kevin with this. And it was so beautiful with the way that he was working on the entertainment system before Super Bowl. And he says, you wrote down the line, didn't you?
I didn't write down the whole thing,
But
but,
you-
it's he
Every
has to
time I
keep.
want to
Yep.
reach for a drink,
He picks up a hammer.
picks up a hammer.
Yeah.
And then you see basically Kevin even doesn't have to say it. It's just a beautiful shot of him like getting that sledgehammer and just having to go to work. And the fact that moment with his father has stuck with him so much.
And I
And him
think
even
he-
saying that too.
And I think he understands it on a different level now,
Yeah.
because he himself has to keep busy. Like you're saying, like he has to pick up that sledgehammer, because if he doesn't, he might fall back into old patterns.
Well, that whole conversation with the two of them in the room was one of my favorites.
First of all, why are they sitting on the person's bed? That's
Right.
the first thing I thought is,
Yeah.
what kind of landlord sits on their tenant's bed?
I
and
don't
when
want
you
to
realize they have roaches, like,
Oh,
that was a whole nother thing for me. I was like, y'all don't know what's in that bed. Like, get up.
I
But,
think what's
yeah.
interesting is, especially in that scene, is seeing that it wasn't just Kevin about his addiction and that being his outlet, kind of like his father. When, you know, he's putting the TV stand together, Jack says, he goes, I need to have my hands on something so I don't put my hands on a drink. So you have Kevin, who's also an addict, needing to engage in something to get his mind off stuff. And then you have Randall, which I love because he said it's in my blood. And it shows you like the nurture versus nature, that they're both, at the end of the day, brothers. And that is their bond. And blood actually does not separate them. And, you know, Randall doesn't have an addiction problem, but he has really bad anxiety. And I feel like this is the first thing that's kind of given him a calling since his father's death.
Yeah, and I think too, whenever you know, Kevin said that beautiful moment about like me having to, you know, go through my list of doing all of my amends, and he said he didn't even say directly outright about his dad, but he was like, yeah, and some amends I can't do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And when he flipped over that paper at the end of the episode, I lost it. Of his name, just Dad on the back.
And especially because it came after he got the necklace back.
Exactly.
And it was that moment of being able to...
You know,
Right.
You know what also was for
To
me
make
too?
amends.
And I don't know if
Yeah.
you guys agree. They gave us too much at the end. Like, I feel like it's, how you said, it's kind of slow paced on other episodes, which is fine because I like character development. I like to get to know them on a different level. But then it was like, boom, Kate looks past the dog thing, gets a dog, which, by the way, I loved. And then Kevin talks to Sophie, and then Kevin gets the necklace back, and then boom, the fire happens. And I'm like, whoa, like, you didn't give me time to process all that.
I think it was the way that they did that, though, was such a cool story element because we open up with this old couple and I'm thinking like, how are they involved? Are they like the house that he's getting ready to flip? Is it like a house that they're in that they find something about? We don't know.
Yeah.
And then when he brings over the crock pot when she's pregnant and to see them build the life, and I think that's why that song's gonna have such an emotional toll on me from now on, is because it's playing during this montage of like, you're building your life and you're building your home together, like even down to the little notches of them growing up. And then the curtains, they show when they got the curtains and then them going up in flames. And then you see the bracelet that he gives her was wrapped in that towel. And that's
The
what
first
caught
thing
fire.
that caught fire.
And then the crock pot and just seeing it all. So like, it gives me chills, like of them laying it out. And you realize like, we put so much value into these these sentimental like pieces and objects, but it really is what she was saying. We can buy new stuff. Doesn't matter. We can buy new stuff. She said it the whole time, but at the same time, you can't. Because those are the things that build those memories, that build that life.
They did an incredible job.
God,
That
it was such a
scene
beautiful montage.
where every single thing that caught on fire, from like the measuring thing to everything,
To go up.
That note
I was like,
that he wrote.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I
Oh,
love
God.
that as
Somebody in the
well.
chat was saying
To Kevin?
when that note caught fire, it's when
That was a
that
wrap.
was the moment.
And his father didn't hear that he was apologetic. He called his mom to say,
Yep.
hey, I'm sorry. And the mom
Yeah.
said, come home, talk to your dad, watch the end of the game. And I cannot tell you how much I love this show and the fact that their messages, like,
Yeah.
Like,
And I think that's why the weight of him, trying to, or feeling that he needed to make this amends with his father was so great, because in that last moment, he didn't get to, have any of that. So I feel that, it was kind of slow paced. It was jam packed in the end, like I said, which is something that they normally do. I don't know if it was too much. I know we are like getting like super prepared now for like the big unveiling. Like we have to sit with that, but they did bring the story of it together so well, because even with the older couple in the beginning and then by the end, I was like, oh, they're the ones going to check out the house, but then it was like, no, we're going back to the past when she's pregnant, and then this whole experience with
I
that
thought it had just so
crock
much
pot.
depth. I think that's why I love the episode so much, and I think that's now clicking why I really enjoyed it, was that I really do love like cinema and television, and when the writing has so much like oomph to it, I just think that that's true art, and I think that it doesn't have to be overloaded with everything. It can be simple and simplistic, but have so much meaning to everything, and at the end of the episode is when it all came together, I think, and it all clicked.
this is definitely an episode like I have to watch again.
Yeah, with all the details.
Like, just watch everything all over again, kind of like absorb it. That's what I think got me so hard, is just everything at the end and the little moments. And just, I remember the note, but then one of you guys said it again, I was like, oh my God, that's right. He put a note on the door
and it caught
to
fire.
his son saying, I love you. And not only did Kevin never see that, but Kevin never got to apologize to his dad. And it's just,
And especially for Kevin's behavior, because I had wrote down when he said, what did he say? I can't read my handwriting. Like he's not supposed to watch the Super Bowl like you guys, and then Kevin's like the worst again. So we got to see.
And what was that though?
Yeah.
The worst again.
Out of-
Like
out
when
of the three,
when was
he's-
he the worst?
I think that he's
That's
always
my
carried.
question.
He's tried to tell us this whole
And he
time.
even during, if we remember the episode when they were having the meeting with the therapist,
Yeah.
he even brought it up then. So even though none of them feel that way, never say that you're the worst.
Right.
This has been something he has put in his brain
Exactly.
as a child, and we've seen it grow with him, that he's always felt like he's the worst.
Yeah.
So him saying that underlying message, Like, he just served it to his parents on a plate, and no one listened to him.
Yeah, and then to have to sit with that and to
For the
know,
rest-
I don't
His
know what
entire
my
life.
last thoughts were about, that experience.
Which
and what I
totally
said.
explains, by the way, why adult Kevin has been the way he is. But I have to give him props that this guy has had the most character development out of any character on this
Yes.
show. I thought it was
Yeah.
Kate at first in terms of like growth and evolution. Like Randall's always just been such a great husband, great human being, great father. And he's had tons of growth and like learning about himself. And I'm talking about the most drastic change I thought for sure was Kate. But now looking full circle, it's definitely Kevin, especially
the past few episodes.
Yes.
Like he's made I feel leaps and bounds, and maybe it's because
100%.
he's had the opportunity to look himself in the mirror and really identify what his issues are.
Yeah, they've been confronted.
That he's now able to step forward in his life.
And most people won't do that in a lifetime, by the way.
I think for me, you could, if you talked to me a couple months ago when I watched the first season, I hated that character. Could not stand him. I thought he was the most vain, like, basic character. There was no depth to him. But
Right.
now, as I look, like you said, in hindsight, from now to there, I'm like,
yeah, get it.
It all makes sense, and there was a reasoning why I wasn't supposed to like him and why he was the way he was. So it's like now I feel like I need to rewatch all of the season to be like,
Because you might understand things
a
differently
little bit
now.
and catch
Yeah.
different things, because the writers have done such a great job that they've put little gems in everywhere that we're now just like, oh. Which I'll talk about in a second, because there's
And you
another
know,
Easter egg I got.
especially what he's gone through in his life. For example, he sees that Sophie's going to NYU. He had an opportunity to, what he said, make it to the NFL, and be at the Super Bowl, which obviously what he said to his father and his mom in a very catty, like, I don't want to be like you people watching it. You know, he had his moments, but it's like he could have spent the rest of his entire life being an addict and victimizing himself. Poor me, I could have gone to the Super Bowl. Poor me, I could have been this. Poor me, I mean, he ends up being a famous celebrity, but he could have been like, poor me, if I didn't have the addiction, I would have gone farther and I would have done films and this. And he chose one day to just wake up and say, I have a problem. I need to fix this. And he did. And I
Yeah.
think that's
And by
so
that point,
beautiful.
he didn't have much of a choice.
Right.
Yeah,
That's what I was
exactly.
thinking, too.
Yeah,
It
to
was-
face it.
it was
I know,
true.
but
It's a-
someone else said it in where they were talking about him. It makes sense with this speech on the football field, and someone says, "I feel like Kevin's been stunted at 17 forever, but he's still kind of a brat."
Yeah,
sure.
More teen siblings scenes together. I feel like we're not going to see the last of the teens. I think even after we find
hope
out
not.
how
I love
Jack
the
dies,
teens.
because I think
Yeah.
we're going to see them develop as teenagers after, without their dad. Now.
Yeah,
I
like the
think it'll
first
be
day of
interesting to
college.
see.
and,
Yeah, all
you know,
that.
graduating from college or graduating to whatever next level that Kevin reached, and then whatever Kate does, because
she gains weight. Remember, she said she gains her weight after her
Did she
father
go to?
dies. Didn't she
Did
say
she
that?
go to college?
That's what I'm
Did she
wondering.
ever
I'm
get
like,
Because
did she
remember,
ever go?
she went to work at that diner, and that's when she met her first love,
Right.
and would drive by that house every single day and would eat fast
And
food
that's
in
when
front of the
she-
house.
That's probably when she started to gain her weight.
But
Yeah.
I mean, it even goes back to like what Rebecca was saying whenever it was when Randall had Tess, where she said every day and every moment is always going to be a sad experience for me because I never get to experience it with your father every 1st. So it's almost like now we get to see, like, once all this, as much as it's like we've wanted to find out how Jack dies, I think it's going to be the next step once we do figure out like how everything went down, of like seeing how they do deal with
With that.
it without him and with that life.
You know what's amazing, if for anybody at home that was watching the SAG Awards, is how Jack has kind of always been like the unity with the cast and with everybody. Like even as simple as the scene where he's videotaping Kate.
Oh,
And
God.
the way he looks at her, like, so
good.
endearingly, the way he's
Yeah.
a father, the way he loves his wife. Like, they're talking about their kids going to college. They're 18, but they kiss each other as if it's been, you know,
A day.
Like, they
Yeah.
just started dating. And it's just, I feel like in every respect, and he's not perfect, and everyone's going to say that we've always loved Jack the most. He's definitely not perfect, but in every respect, he's just such a passionate individual. And I love the fact that when they accepted the award for Best Cast at the SAG
Ensemble.
Awards, Best Ensemble, but yeah, ultimately, because I had to Google that. I was like, what does that mean?
New spoiler
Which
alert.
means,
Right.
oh, sorry, spoiler alert if you didn't watch it. But dude, I saw that everywhere. But I love even the way he was talking during the speech. I felt like Jack was talking to me.
Oh my God.
Did you guys watch it?
No, I haven't yet, so don't tell me.
Never let up.
I am watching it tonight when I get home.
If you watch it, I promise you're gonna come back to me and say you're right. I felt Jack vibes.
Okay.
I think, and kudos to him and kudos to all the actors and congratulations to all of them, and we'll cover that a little bit later on in news. But I think the fact that you said that is such a testament to him being such a great actor, is that he gave so much of himself. Even though he is Jack in the show, and you're still separating them as Milo and Jack, but to give so much of yourself and to be so vulnerable and to be so open to a character like that, to where us as an audience like feels you and gets it and really like connects with you and has a relationship, like.
And by the way, we were talking about this earlier, that some of the younger cast members, so I think it is the younger, because we're going to see a lot more of the teens. So you were right about that. Was it you that said it, or Keith? That it was the younger kids? So some of the younger kids weren't invited to the SAG Awards, so the adult cast members brought them as their plus ones.
So you just gonna give all the news?
You gonna give all the news? That's supposed to go at the
Honestly,
end of the episode?
That wasn't on the list.
No. I didn't put that in there.
Not on the list.
That was actually.
We talked. I asked her if
you.
it was on the news list.
Thank you to one of our viewers, Brittany, who she tweeted us about it.
That's awesome.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Thank you, Brittany.
So thank you,
Nice.
Brittany.
I saw it on the Snapchat info
Oh,
thing.
yeah.
I asked her before we started filming if it was in there. She said no.
My bad.
But I'm saying
Alright.
it explains like their relationship, that they really
Right.
are like this in real
Yeah,
life.
they have it. So it shows how deserving they are to be best ensemble, because
yeah.
that can be said for like each of the characters, and as you see them kind of maneuver on social media or in the world. So I think that's really cool.
And even going back to what you guys were saying about seeing Jack recording Kate, him looking so proud.
He was so,
in that reflection in
Especially
the mirror,
with the playback too.
Yeah, and that's what I'm talking about more specifically, when Kate was watching it back and she's like, oh, I finally get how my dad sees me.
His smiling
That's
in
why
the-
he tells
Yeah.
me that I'm so beautiful.
And when she
I
told
see it
him,
in his face.
don't ever stop trying to get, or paraphrasing, don't ever stop trying to get me to see me the way you see me.
Yeah.
I'm just like, wow.
because she finally got it.
Yeah, because she can see the
literally.
way that he sees
Are you getting
her.
emotional?
Because
again?
it's
You're getting me
easier.
emotional.
Because going off of what she was saying last episode, it's easier for her to beat herself down. Like she'll try on a size too small because it's easier for her to have that voice in her head. And especially now because Jack's not there to combat that voice.
Right.
You guys, it's so sad though, because her mom also looks at her that way. Like even in the scene when she was so excited
Yeah,
about
but we-
going dress shopping,
But
but
we
she only
always
sees
like
it
side with
from
like
Jack's perspective.
yeah.
They have an
there's a
amazing mom.
difference
Rebecca's an
between the
amazing
two.
mother.
And you know what? Even more when you go into that, it's like we saw both of those kids got to have closure with their dad that night. Like he left for Titanic, but he came back and was like,
Yep.
"Dad, I got to kiss her, and were you a gentleman?"
Yeah.
yeah,
Right.
And like they had that moment,
That's good.
and then she had her moment saying, "Don't stop trying." But
Yeah.
Evan did not get
can't
one.
do it.
He did not get one. I did want to talk a little bit about, so for the episode, I feel like we got to see a lot of celebrity appearances as well. What
Yeah,
did you guys
Lena
think
Waithe.
of that?
I love
Oh,
it.
yeah. Well, last week I gave a shout out
Yeah,
to
you
Dawn
did.
Lewis and Garrett Morris.
Uh-huh.
And when you saw Dawn tonight, you got excited. So I was like, finally, somebody who understands my excitement.
I get it.
Well, because you know, anyone that gets an offer to be an extra, or like, sorry, not an extra, but a guest star on This Is Us is like, yes. Like,
Right.
That's like a
Big-
automatic yes.
Big deal. I wonder what made them bring Lena Waithe in, though.
I
didn't-
love her, by the way.
I like her too, but I didn't feel like it was super necessary.
I think
She
it was just
probably
kind of
wanted to be on, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think
I
it's,
mean, good for her.
I think it's because they just premiered The Shy, which
Yeah.
is because they just interviewed her
Yeah.
on the red carpet for the premiere of The Shy. She's the executive producer. By the way, I heard that's also amazing, which has nothing
Yeah.
to do with this,
Yeah.
but
Yeah,
that would
there's a
kind of
show.
make
They
sense.
do their
After
after
show
show
that
on
will be here.
Sundays.
Yes. So.
Yeah.
So
Yes,
I
Dawn.
think it's literally exact timing. It's when it premieres is now, so
Makes
that's why
sense.
she's in it.
Dawn Fan Forever shouts out Jaleesa.
Yes,
so yes,
from a different
absolutely.
world.
Jaleesa.
Yeah, she's definitely a fan because, you know, even what she's doing with The Shy, she wants to make a difference. She wants to show a different side of like Chicago and stuff. So I can see where she would love to be a part of a show like this. She's very like in tune with herself. She's a great person.
Nice.
Oh, she was so good. Oh, I loved that moment when they saw the puppies.
Oh, she's a friend of one of the writers?
Is
That's
she?
pretty awesome.
Okay.
Can I be a friend of one of the writers? I want to be.
Right.
I want to be the girl at the store or
Hello.
something.
Oh, speaking of writers, we have to give a shout out to Kay again, who
Is she here?
hasn't been in the chat for
Oh.
a few weeks or months even, but
Kay,
she
come
was
back.
the writer on the episode tonight.
I do
Oh
know
my
that
gosh.
there's a lot of tight-lippedness around this show
Okay.
right now. because they are not wanting anyone to release any spoilers right now, and especially at this moment, I think it makes sense.
Because
It's
I'm
like a
trying to
pinnacle
tell
moment.
You, I wouldn't let somebody out of this room.
No,
After watching this episode
no.
saying something.
By the way, Chelsea D, I know she said it a couple minutes ago, but I was waiting till we got to what we were just saying. She said that on an interview, Milo has said that the way he dies, no one has guessed yet. So it's not going to be, because I know some people were saying that it'd be so cheesy if he died because of the dog. I really don't think it's going to be what they're giving us. I think they're trying to tell us it's about the dog, but I agree with Chelsea that if that's what was said, that it's not going to be about the dog. She was saying on an interview that he actually said he doesn't die the way any of these other people have like assumed. Because everyone's always said it's about the dog, it's about the addiction, kind of the stuff that we talked about.
Also, they randomly introduced a character only 2 episodes ago. And normally when they introduce people that are like significant, there's a purpose.
Yeah.
Who did they introduce? Who am I thinking of?
Right.
Randall's girlfriend.
Oh, Allison.
By the way, she agrees. She's like, I thought I was ready. I thought I was ready for this episode. #, no.
She's on it.
That's how I feel.
Come on.
Were you guys ready?
saying.
Come on.
If we want to
Okay, Kay's here.
Kay!
Hey!
Titanic fan for
Okay,
life.
were
Kay,
you
we
guys-
love you.
Were you guys honestly? I want to get a yes or no ready for this episode. Honestly,
I was not mentally prepared for it.
I don't-
Because I knew
I-
we were on episode 13, so I was like waiting till like 15, 16, 17, 18 to start like, I did not expect it to come up this quick.
we said it right before it started. We said we have 5 more episodes before they're gonna tell us anything.
Yeah.
I was ready because, like I said last week, I'm just going with the flow.
At this
Yeah.
You're always
So-
right.
Can I be on your page?
I will say,
I feel like I've
look
been
at
lied
that.
to this whole time.
I read a couple of articles leading up, and obviously no one knows any of this stuff. No one does. So like, take this with a grain of salt.
all speculation.
Any of these articles that you guys are reading, no one knows. Like, they're literally like keeping this under lock and key. But they were talking about like little Easter eggs that you notice is that they really do think that Kate is the reason why.
Yeah.
And so we don't know what that is, but we know that she is the reason.
I think she's associated with it, but I don't think
she
it's.
says that she is.
She says that she was the reason that he died. There's like so many little different Easter eggs that are in there. And then also, if we look back a couple of episodes before, like obviously now that we've watched the show, I was kind of prepared going into the show that it was going to start showing up. And this was the day. Because number one, last week's preview, he said this is the last Super Bowl with the kids. And they cut it off. So I'm like, okay. Well, that's one thing. But on top of it, if you guys remember when she drove up in front of the house and we saw it burnt down, she was wearing the shirt that she was wearing in this episode.
Yeah.
But they've always done like these random flashbacks. Like how many times did they show the fire alarm and
They've
like,
shown the fire alarm
the NFL
last
scene.
episode.
Yeah,
And I guess
that was
only
the
been
first
once.
time.
I get that's when they were doing, but I'm saying like when she was lighting stuff and saying that it wasn't working. Remember when they were doing the vantage point when it was like the big 3 episodes?
The
And
1,
it
2,
was
3.
The 1, 2, 3, and there was like 4 episodes where they literally showed the same scene. So I'm not thinking when I see the show or anything, but I love how everyone says the same thing. Well, not everyone, but most people are saying like once it started happening, they were not ready for it. We gotta watch this once we get home.
Yeah, I'm gonna rewatch this
I
because
gotta
I feel
watch
like
this
there's
again.
so much more in there that there's like underlying messages that
gonna
we're
rewatch
missing
it.
out.
Why, it's too
You're
much?
Like, no.
I'm just not a rewatcher like that.
What if you missed like a key point?
He's just like, oh well.
Y'all gotta tell me.
like, I'm done.
You like, do I really need to? I just don't like to like immediately like come back. Okay,
You
I'll
gotta watch
rewatch
it without Candice crying. She distracts you.
You're right.
I see you looking at her. I swear I see
Side-eyed.
Keith.
Y'all, they make so much fun of me that I cry.
I will tell you something though. Something I've noticed that Keith does, and he can agree to disagree. Whenever you get emotional, I feel like it might trigger something, so he starts looking at his phone. And then he like looks up and then he looks at
She
his phone.
always says that.
And you're not that interested in your phone. I know you're not because you're so in tune when we're in the after show with what's going on.
Yeah.
I think you look down at your phone because you don't want to see her crying because you don't want to start crying. That's what I
Ha
think.
ha 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 ha. Someone
think?
said, "Are we going to talk about the MVP, Beth?" Oh, thanks, Aaliyah. She understands.
Aaliyah does understand.
By the way, guys, I am the
everybody.
crier on the show, not Lina. She is getting all this flack about being the crier. So
It's
there you go. It's
actually
cleared
other
up.
hosts on AfterBuzz that go, "Oh, you're the one that always cries on This Is Us." I'm
That's
like, no.
fine.
Never crying.
I don't care being known as that. I am fine.
No,
as can be.
I definitely got tear jerked a little bit, but I think the second my anxiety kicked in about, oh no, what's happening, I was on like fight or flight mode. I stopped
No,
crying.
get me out. Get me out.
Yeah, I think we need to do something
Thank
to
you.
prepare
Brittany
for next week.
understands.
Oh, for sure, we're crying all of next episode.
Oh, God, I'm
already-
bringing tissues, and I might bring a glass of wine.
Yes.
Why just a glass? Like,
I mean, I might bring a whole bottle. I might need the whole bottle.
there.
Plus, guys, it is. Oh, what about the old couple that Rebecca left the message voicemail to?
I think that was
That's
that was
somebody
a
else.
yeah, it was
Yeah,
a
yeah,
setup
yeah.
to
Think
make
for
it
a
look
I
like.
thought
second.
that too.
Yeah.
I was like, why are they knocking on the door? Why
That's
is it?
what
Oh
I
my
was
God!
saying.
What if they move into the house that she circled that they were going to renovate? Because the house
That's
is
Because they
gone
need
now.
a house.
No, I would think
they're gonna
that
need a
too.
house when the
They're
house.
gonna need a house. The
And
house is
especially
gone.
because
The house
she's
is
already
gone.
shared that information or that moment with Jack, I would think
Yeah,
like,
I would
okay,
think that would be like the
this
place
is
that I
where
would
we
go
go.
to. Yeah.
Everyone wants to talk about Beth.
Yes, love Beth.
Of
She
course.
she's just literally the most amazing, understanding, patient woman
Agreed.
I've ever met. It was the exact thought I had is Randall didn't even let her finish her sentence when she's talking in front of what's their tenants, kind of undermining her and being like, no, yes, we will do that. Yes, we will do this. And she just didn't say anything. She didn't say you deserve it. She just goes, and she waited. She patiently waited. She knew her case was going to be proven. It got proven a lot quicker than probably what she thought. But she's still so understanding, and I love that about her. I just think that to be understanding and to communicate just cures.
To deal with, I love me some Randall. Not throwing shade, so no one get pissed at me for saying this. But I couldn't handle him if he was like that. I know he's excited. I get it, and I understand that they have the best relationship, so she understands. But if someone is doing that and take it,
Especially when you have the experience. Like, that's what she
Yes.
had to remind
Right.
him of at the end of the episode. She
Exactly.
was like, you forget who I am. I do this for a living.
In a
Right.
very
and you're
nice
going,
way, too.
And you're going to dismiss me? Okay. When you
Dismi-
call me,
Good word.
I'm going to say, I told you so.
Yeah.
Without having to say, I told you so. Because I know what I'm talking about.
Yeah,
is there
it
a
was
problem in
learning
Rome,
moment.
Caesar? She said.
And she
I
did
know.
it in such a tasteful way too. She wasn't very like, you don't know, and I've been doing this, and I'm and we wasted money. No, she was just like, I got
mean,
you
it was
excited.
super That is a
What did
huge
you call
lesson.
it? R&B. She said slow
Smooth
R&B.
Just gotta be
Smooth
smooth
R&B.
R&B.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which I didn't even put together. I was like, oh yeah, Randall
Oh,
and
no,
Beth.
I just got that right
That's
now.
cute.
No, I
swear
got
to
it
God.
then
cute.
because I chuckled. But I think that,
I just got that.
I
best-
put
Oh,
it together,
that's
yeah.
true. Chelsea, that's a good one. I'm surprised Randall didn't have the fire escapes as a first priority.
But Beth did.
Oh.
She
Yeah,
said
Beth
number
did.
one.
Yeah, but you
Oh, that
see
is
what
a good
he's
point.
what she's pointing out.
right, they had said that
I
earlier.
mean, that's yeah.
but it was Beth who mentioned
Oh, I
it.
didn't even think about that.
But you know what I really
mean,
like
Taylor Howard had
about
done that
this
too.
episode is even with it being around like setting up like this big reveal, we do get to see the ensemble act in a way that really keeps it afloat. We got Beth and Randall with
Yeah.
their shenanigans and good times, and then we got Toby and Kate with the puppy and
I mean, just Randall and his
thinking that it was
shenanigans,
porn
not Beth.
and figuring that out. And then we
Time out.
even got to see Kevin and Sophie. I wasn't looking forward to seeing.
Oh,
Before we
yeah, we
get
need
there,
to talk
though,
about
hold
that.
on. Before we get
Let's
there,
talk about
though,
the dog.
I love the fact that Toby looks at puppies like people watch porn. Like that
thought
to
that
me,
was
It's not
so
puppy
funny.
porn either. He says.
Right?
it's so. But with Toby, you believe it. Like, it's not like if he had been caught watching porn, okay, maybe you could. But him
Right.
looking at puppies, you're like, yeah, that's a Toby thing.
You guys,
But he was so saying.
and it had like sad ears, and it doesn't have like a little bit of like a. You guys, that
Turned
dog
down.
is so cute.
He was cute.
Him looking up at her, just like, oh.
You guys, when she walked out and she was apologizing to
Oh my
that
God.
dog, that was the scene more than anything that got me. She was like, "I'm so sorry. It's not your fault. It's baggage from that has nothing to do with you." And all I kept thinking is, please take the dog, because people don't realize at shelters, like, dogs get euthanized after a certain amount of days. I'm like,
Yeah.
please go get the dog. Please go get the dog. So in the scene when she walks in, she goes, by the way, why was the dog not like running in? So I was
Right,
like,
that's
"That's
what I
not
did.
like,
Dog
why did we
dog.
hear the
When
dog
the
or something?
dog
He's a good little
because he's
doggy.
good. Yeah, he's
a
obedient.
good
He's a
puppy.
good
You would
puppy.
have thought when they opened that cage or the door of the cage, he would have just took off.
No,
But he
just-
it was like he was meant for Kate.
And the fact that his name is Audio.
Yeah.
Yes, I
love
caught that too.
I love that. It was meant to be, and I'm so glad that she saw that. That was Lovely.
Mm-hmm.
What was I completely lost my train of thought. What was the point that we needed? Sophie.
Oh, we were going into
We need to
Kevin
talk
and
about that.
Sophie.
Now Taylor in the chat says that they miss Sophie,
Right.
which that goes against a lot of opinions
From the
in
past.
previous chats. Yeah.
I think she's bad for him. I think that
What? Oh,
I do.
No, I
I
think
do.
he's bad for
Yeah,
her.
he's bad for
He's
her.
bad for
He's
her.
bad
No,
for
I'm
her.
not meaning it in. I'm not.
You
meaning
are
it that
the
she,
name.
I don't mean that she, as a human being, is bad for him. I'm meaning that like the relationship and the toxicity of the relationship, like it's going to bring him back down.
But it's him. I don't think
It's
that
Well, yeah, it has
100%
nothing to do with
him.
her, but she's still not good for him because that's a memory of constant past.
Yeah, but when I look at it, I don't see it from his perspective. I
Okay.
see it as
All right.
he's not good for her. Just like he went to her and she had to just be like, goodbye.
I'm done.
As much as it
Well,
hurts.
good for
and have
her,
all that
though,
shit. Yeah, I was
because-
glad to that because I didn't want to see anything drawn out.
I
don't
think
want
she's
to
his
see much
drug.
more of
I
her.
don't
Too.
think this is the last of her, to be honest. I
Really?
do not. I think that he got her at when he said,
Sorry.
"You are the name." And even when she was cutting him off, you could tell there's a part of her that didn't want to cut him off. And I
No.
understand there's a history, but I do not think this is the last of her. And
I
I've said
think
this
in that
before.
capacity-
Everybody disagreed. I don't think this is the last of her.
Okay, there's a lot. So who just said that Kevin is Sophie's drug?
I did.
Candice.
Because even in this episode, Sophie admitted, like, I'm a nurse. I
And I
should have
didn't
caught
see it.
that that
And
something
Kevin's
was wrong
hers.
with you. Yeah, and for her to say that she's never loved another man like she loves Kevin, that's serious because she's at least been that we know of in one other relationship.
That's
what
why
does
he
that have
ain't
to
going
say?
anywhere.
What does that have to say for her future relationship? She's never going to achieve that same love.
But
that's rough.
It's different. They
But-
grew up together. They went through
Exactly.
a lot together.
It's a different, like it's one type of love. I think there's multiple, like when we all encounter whoever our significant other is, but like they grew up together. Like literally, this
From, like,
person
10
has,
years old.
This person has been like your person all the way up, and that's why I'm saying that she's not good for him, or if you want to flip it, he's not good for her. Either way, like they've had so much trauma that has happened in their life, and now we realize how much trauma is actually carried over with Kevin. Like that person, just like the dog is for Kate, is association with what has happened, regardless of if you can just like you can realize it. So the longer Sophie stays in his life, that moment in his life will never, ever, ever go away.
Well,
Does that make sense?
but I don't even
It
think
does.
that's attached to
her-
Sophie though.
But he was with
Yeah.
her when he died.
It makes sense, but I think that the moment is never going to go away because it'll always
Right.
be
Well, yeah,
there.
but
I don't feel that he's that attached to Sophie. I was okay with them, bringing her in as far as, making amends and that sort of thing. I do also feel that everybody has that person or that love that you're always going to compare it to. There's somebody, if they come through right now, you may, you know what I mean? You have to deal with, do I want to run out there or am I going to be over it?
Talk about it.
I think
So-
I think with Sophie there's a sense of familiarity where he doesn't have to talk about his father or explain it to somebody new. I feel like a lot of his character and who he is, he maybe feels like in a new relationship he'll have to explain about his dad. And he doesn't, as we've seen, doesn't really like to talk about his dad until this whole breakdown. So I feel like with Sophie, it's not just that I'm not saying he doesn't love her. I do think that they have something special. They grew up together. I think he feels comfortable, kind of like how Beth knows everything about the father. And you even see with Toby. Toby sometimes is like, man, Kate doesn't tell me everything about her father. It's like a guessing game and there's things off topic. With Kevin, I think 100%. It's less that she's his drug and more that she just knows everything and he doesn't feel like he has to explain himself to her. Which is a great thing and also a bad thing.
I'm just glad that she wasn't here for it and she said goodbye. I'm glad he got his necklace
Yes.
and let's
I thought that it was a really good breakup. To be
can't-
honest, it was
Fair.
beautifully done, and
Fair.
it was real, and it wasn't like we got to break up, and like it wasn't dramatic. Like breakups don't always have to be dramatic. Sometimes they are just that I'm
is
done.
what
This
it
is
is.
this is it.
And going off of what Lina's saying, I think if Sophie does stick around, as difficult as it might be, they might be together in like a friend capacity.
I think-
so
yeah.
Kevin can have that person that he can talk to.
I don't
Because
think that they'll be romantic.
He can
together.
seem to talk to Sophie about any and everything. So I think if she does stick around, which somebody mentioned in the chat that
She's
I
a series
believe she
regular.
is a series regular, that
Oh, wow.
so this isn't the end of her.
Okay,
now.
wait, what is this? It's a young relationship with Allison, and it's Randall's senior year. That's a whole lot to be stacked against him with you. Okay, well, yeah. Oh, Kate, I love that you're in here chatting with everybody. It makes me so happy.
I know.
And another thing too is that if you remember their breakups, it was because he didn't show up to the charity. Well, he was at the charity thing, but didn't show up at the auction. And then he just one day told her it's over, and I have problems. So now that she understands what he's gone through in therapy, just being a girl and knowing that she just, as you said, finished saying that she's never loved somebody like she's loved him, I feel like she will make the excuse in her head. And I know that's not what you want, Keith. I know that's not what Aaliyah wants. I know
We
that's not
all
what a
have
lot
our
of people
opinions.
want.
To me, I don't necessarily want it
No,
either.
I'm saying Aaliyah. Yeah,
Yeah.
but I'm saying just understanding that she just finished saying, I will never, and I've never loved somebody as much as I love you.
She's
and her
gonna
understanding
end
that he just went through therapy and that he had a real problem and he's actually making amends with it and dealing with it. And you are not a name on the list, you are the name.
I mean,
And kudos to him for not going back and grabbing a drink after that, because that's one heck of a...
Who says he did?
I don't
grabbed
Oh
that
no,
necklace.
because that's when he got the necklace. Yeah.
And I don't think that he did. Well, I don't think that he would have, only because with his intention it was to make amends.
Yeah.
I don't think
Okay.
he went expecting to jump back and be in a
Right.
relationship, because I still think he feels the way he does feel about their situation. But I think it's just unfortunate. I think as human, like, part of our experience, it is when we have this connection with somebody to like fall on that. So she will probably, put him first and kind of be this person, knowing that, I still can't be with you or whatever the future I wanted. I don't have that ability because you're no good for me.
There's one other thing I want to mention before we hop into news, because I know that we're wrapping it up. But the moment with Randall and Kevin on the bed when they're talking, and
Yeah.
we really talk about the time and the age and everything of him saying he's been gone longer than the amount of time that we had him. And that just struck me so hard. And this like idea that they can't see past a certain age because his dad never got past
Right.
that
I thought
age.
that was so crazy.
It was just so like, wow. I don't know what more to say about it. It was just like one of my favorite moments of the show, to be honest.
Because
that,
it was
like,
such a big, it was a bold
Yeah.
moment amongst men. And that's something that, they were super vulnerable in that capacity. Two men together, like on a bed. You get to see them be brothers, but you get to see kind of like a man's perspective and on life and the impact that, having your father in your life and not having him in your life and dealing with that has on you. Even when Kevin gave the nod to him, like, oh, you'll be like your other dad. I'm just like, aw.
And I feel like that's the first time they actually really bonded, especially given the fact that he just got a DUI, potentially could have killed his daughter in the backseat of the car.
Yeah.
I feel like that was the first real moment.
Sense, or for me, I felt because
I
I felt that
think
it showed the impact that, okay, they're brothers and they have this bond no matter what's going on.
because even if we flash back and we saw the 3 different episodes, whenever they had their moment
Yeah.
and it was just the two of them, I think that that's when the bond happened. And I honestly think, this is just a small prediction, I think that their bond gets super strong after Jack
through.
dies. I think that they get super, super close. Because even in the texting, when they were texting back and forth, the little isms, I still think they've always been close. I think just
Yeah.
life of getting married and having kids, things gravitate
I always
apart.
love Randall's face when someone yells, "The Manny!" His face is like, oh, God.
He's like, has
Especially
anybody
Beth.
seen the Manny?
Beth is like, oh, the Manny show again? I'm like, Beth, don't forget, he was the one talking to you on the phone.
This is true.
He was in his ear, right? Like telling him, was it on the
Yeah.
phone? Where were they?
I think they were on the phone.
Yeah, they were on the
Yeah.
phone. It's like, you fell in love with Kevin, don't forget. The Manny.
Well, guys, as much as I could keep going on and on about this episode, we do want to hop into some news.
Yes.
AfterBuzz TV News.
Steve, this is kind of a last minute request, but could we get some applause, please, if possible? Because we're going to talk about, we're going to talk about, there we go, thank you. So, huge congratulations. Last week, we didn't cover it, but Sterling K. Brown won the Golden Globe for Best Actor in a Dramatic Television Series.
No
so that was
surprise
last
there.
week.
First
Amazing.
African
And then this-
American man to do so.
This past Sunday, Sterling won again at the SAG Awards for Outstanding Performance by a Male Actor in a Drama Series, as well as...
First, I'm sorry, don't mean to cut you, but first African American to win the SAG award. SAG as well.
It's just
So-
sad that we have to keep doing that, but all right. And also at the SAG Awards, as we mentioned before, the cast won for Best TV Ensemble in a Drama Series.
Yay, I'm going to do Nicole Kidman.
I love that picture. I love
Because
that
she doesn't want to mess
picture
up her nails and her jewelry.
that you're
Yeah, she
seeing
couldn't
now
scratch the rings or
of
something.
all of them. And if you had seen the behind the scenes, I think Sterling wasn't there when they actually won, and he's walking in and he's standing off to the side and he's just crying because he's just so happy to be with all of them.
I wish we had a clip of Sterling's speech, but if you guys get a chance, go look at it. The moment that got me, and I was literally laying in my bed scrolling and just started crying. Doesn't surprise anybody. I know. I'm catching you guys before you say anything. But he did say at the end, he was like, just for any of those that are like working really, really hard and fighting for the dream, don't give up.
Yeah.
And it was just so, and I loved it because it's SAG. So it's all these people that are like fighting for.
I'm waiting for the tears.
I was wondering why you were staring at me like that. I was like, what is she doing?
I was like, any second, how cute.
But like all those people that are fighting, that have come out here or in New York or wherever they're at trying to fight for a dream, that it is possible.
Yeah.
And even Chrissy did a clip behind the scenes where she has the award. She was like, SAG, 2 years ago I couldn't even pay my dues and now I got one.
Yeah.
And I was just like, God, that is like so true that your life can change in an instant.
You
And
guys,
so
sometimes
congrats
when you're
to them.
at
God, that's
almost nothing.
she had
That's
like
when it
46
comes.
cents
Yeah.
to her name, so I feel you, girl.
Did you guys?
I'm hoping I get my SAG award in 2
Did you
years.
guys
Let's
see
not
when
do this.
Did you guys see when the award was being presented? One of the introducers was like, if he's black because I'm black, I'm gonna say his name. And you see Randall's face. I'm like, just say it because you know it's gonna be him. And she's like, ah. But you know in their face, because when she said that, it took an extra like 10 seconds. Everyone's like, come on.
Yeah.
Just say it.
Just say it.
But
Now I
was
gotta
there
go watch
any
it.
question? I don't care
No.
race aside, he is the
He's
best
perfect.
actor.
He's so good.
He makes
on
me cry on
television.
cue.
He's amazing. And to fanboy for just a second, because I wasn't here the past 2 weeks, but
You
y'all
fanboy?
know I love Sterling K. Brown.
Yeah, we
you
touched
know,
on it a little bit.
Growing
yeah.
up, going to school, I really like modeled myself and what I would want my career to be after him, and like that's the reason why I'm on this panel now.
I'm so glad you were here to be able to say it
Yes.
because I didn't do it justice. I read a little bit of from your Instagram.
Oh, okay, nice,
page, so
nice.
But
I'm
I
glad
even
you were
love
here.
his speech that he gave at the Golden Globes where he was talking about like instead of just like dissolving color in the casting room, colorless casting or whatever the proper term that he used, but he was like, you wrote a role for a black man that only a black man could play, and you were playing it and giving it justice.
Indeed.
Like, I think that goes without saying that should be the ideal for every race, not just African American, not just Hispanic, every race, because there's such a wide rainbow of people that are very underrepresented, and it's not because of lack of talent, it's because of lack of opportunity.
Can we-
So I'm just
100%.
saying.
Yeah.
Can we also talk about how much Sterling, not Randall, Sterling loves his wife?
Oh,
Like,
absolutely.
he thanked her in every speech.
No, because
Every
does it
single
first.
red carpet, it's the first thing he
He does
does.
it first.
No, but not in one speech. In one speech, he got cut off.
That's
And he
why.
did.
Right,
And
and
that's
now-
why every time now he does it first because
Okay,
he's
yeah.
like,
'Cause I was like-
and he said he has PTSD from seeing the clock, so he's just like, let me get it out.
So when he was doing the back interviews, what is that called? Where you do the
Behind the
questions,
Like the press.
The press.
Yeah.
He was like, "You cut me off at my wife,"
Yeah.
and she just the way she kisses him. I'm like,
They're so
I'm getting
beautiful to
like Beth and
watch.
Randall vibes.
Yeah.
No wonder this guy can play that role so well
it's just
because
easy.
he loves
Yeah.
his wife like
Yeah.
that.
Amazing.
Well, we also have one other image that we wanted to throw up here.
Yeah, so great minds think alike, apparently, because
All our ladies.
all the Pearsons
Isn't that
decided
crazy?
to dress alike unintentionally. Mandy on her Instagram page said, "Oh, and this was not planned. The Pearson ladies all showed up in the same shade of blue by pure coincidence." She said she loves her gorgeous, fiercely talented wild sisters and couldn't have been more honored to have matched them last night.
Oh my God, that's beautiful.
So that's, and the fact that, and from what I understand, I think Susan, in a interview with Build, the Build series online, she was saying that's not the first time that it's happened. Where they've unintentionally all worn
Just
the same
insane.
color.
The BBs,
Yeah.
beauties
That's
in
so
blue,
crazy.
Yeah.
and it's
Wow.
the same exact shade of blue. There's like
Right.
95 shades
That's
of blue.
my shade of blue. Just saying, that's University of Kentucky. Go Wildcats. That's our
That's
blue.
funny. I totally thought that was intentional.
Nope.
Did you guys see
Just a happy
Teen Kevin
coincidence.
when they announced that they won at the SAG Awards? Teen Kevin was so surprised. He's like, "What?"
Yeah, I think everybody was surprised because they were thinking The Handmaid's Tale was going to win or
No,
something.
oh my God, their
it was a shock
bond,
for them.
even in
I'm
real life,
sorry,
is
yeah.
incredible. I didn't think there was any question there.
All of
This
them were
or
great.
Sterling, no question for me.
And
Yeah.
then one last opportunity for the fans to actually be involved. This Is Us is nominated for a Shorty Award, which is an online award. So
Oh,
you can go on
nice.
shortyawards.com and it's open from now until February 22nd at 11:59 p.m. So just click. You can vote once per day. Just click vote, and let's do it big for This Is Us.
Yes.
And guys, also before we get, we have to end. We are trying to figure out our schedule for the next episode. We'll be off next week because there is no episode.
Tuesday.
And it is, just for you guys that are watching, do not forget, for the love of God, do not forget, it will be on Sunday directly after the Super Bowl, as I said in the previews. Record, like, give extra time for recording.
Which is crazy because this whole episode was about the Super Bowl.
They did that on purpose.
I just
And it's
got
also
that.
the
Like
reason why that we find out.
I'm just getting everything.
Well,
a
they
little bit
timed
late.
it out too because he dies on Super Bowl. So they're doing it after that. Plus, on top of it, Super Bowl is the #1 watch
'cause in the story-
live thing. So it's like
Everything makes
everybody will be watching. So
Yeah.
it's just kind of one of those things. So.
sense. 2 hours extended. Exactly.
Oh my God.
12 days, February the 4th.
Oh, that
Yes,
feels
we
like
gotta
so
figure
long.
that out. It
It's
does.
far away.
2 hours extended. It's extended.
No, they're-
oh,
they're
they're
saying
saying
to
to
It's in
record
the
it.
Oh, okay.
DVR.
Yes.
And predictions, I don't even know, guys. I really don't. I think I
I don't know. I do know
After-
a few people in the chat were just saying they're hoping that it's just the teens in the next episode.
Well, I
So
predict
would
that
be-
Jack is gonna die from the fire.
Well,
Well,
Can we all agree?
Right.
yeah.
Wonder if do we know what time frame we're at in the adult episode?
What do you mean?
They're
Like what
18
time
right
of
now.
year? No.
Oh.
Oh, time
Like
of
the
year.
adult-
I don't know.
Because I'm
could
wondering if
change.
they're gonna end up
You guys,
lining
Taylor's
it.
prediction, we're all gonna sob.
Yes, very true.
Perfect.
Especially
But I'm-
Candice.
Yeah, guys, it's not happening. I'm just not gonna wear makeup the episode. I'm
You're
wondering
thinking
if
they're
they're
gonna-
gonna have it like
The
this
anniversary
is my
of his
prediction.
death.
Yes.
Okay.
I wonder if they're gonna line it up to where
Oh.
like the adult episode will be Super Bowl Sunday and then it's the same time, and so they're all reflecting because it's gonna be like the 21st anniversary or
I
something.
think so. I think it will be.
I think
Super
that
Bowl
that would
Sunday.
be nice.
I think it will be Super
Yeah.
Bowl.
so. We'll see. That's my only
Do
prediction
you
that I
guys
got.
do you guys know real quick? So there's 6 episodes left of season 2.
No, there's 5 now
5 now.
because where you just had 13, so it goes to 18.
And then for season 3, they don't wait a full year, right? This is not like Game of Thrones. You gotta wait a year
Season
and a
3
half.
should be coming on in the fall.
Next fall.
Probably fall.
Oh,
Yeah.
so that's not that far away. I mean, it's kind of far, but
We'll have the summer off.
Right.
oh.
I know. Meaning they're probably getting ready to start shooting season 3 very soon. If it's going to be debuting in the fall, they
Because
should
there's
be
still so
starting
much to
fairly
talk
soon.
about. Jack dying is not the show being over. There's
No.
so much development.
Yeah,
I want to
so
know what
much.
happened to the rest of them.
Yeah. Yeah.
So before we wrap, I just
Yes.
wanted to give, since she's actually in the chat and she can hear us now, wanted to give a big shout out again to Kay, the writer for this episode and a writer on This Is Us. Thank you for being in the
Yes.
chat.
Yay!
Amazing.
I'm so happy to
Thank
see you again.
She says nope. I think there's a delay in oh, there's a
Okay.
second delay. There we go. All right, perfect. I was like, wait a second. But she sent us an emoji. Thank you, Kay. We love you.
Yes.
Um,
And we love the show.
We love the show. But guys, as much as I don't want to end this conversation, we do have to end, unfortunately. But we will be back in a week and a half.
Yes.
So be sure to follow all of us on social media and be sure to follow and subscribe to AfterBuzz because that way you will be able to know what is going on because we love talking to you guys and I know that I'm going to need all y'all's support next episode
She
because
needs-
it's just I need all
She
the
needs
community.
co-criers.
Oh, they
I
don't
need
start
co-criers.
shooting until July.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, perfect. Thanks, Kay. So, thank you guys for tuning in. And again, be sure to follow all of us on social media. My name is Candice Cruz. You can find me at Candice R. Cruz.
I'm Keith Andre on all things social media at Keith_Andre.
And I'm Lina Noory. You can find me all over the internet at Lina Noory.
And I'm Erica Shannon, and you can find me on Twitter at Miss Airy Baby.
All right, we'll see you guys next
Later.
time. Bye.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.